Good evening. Welcome to the City of Opa-locka regular commission meeting. If you look at your agendas, you will see that this is a time for us to celebrate and award our community, hear presentations from the public, listen to our fellow community members, and most importantly, for the people you see before you today to make the policy decisions based upon the information we receive. At the back of the room, there are two agenda packets that have the exact same information we receive as a commission to make decisions on behalf of the people who elected us. Please feel free to review them, follow along. With that said, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Burke,
Here.
Vice Mayor Davis,
Here.
Commissioner Kelly,
Present.
Mayor Pygott.
I'm here. Commissioner Kelly, would you lead us in invocation?
Eternal God, our Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for life, health, and strength. We thank you, God, for this city. Continue, God, to unite us together where there's unity, there's strength. We ask, God, look on our country, look on our state, look on our communities. Even, God, as the virus goes around, we know that you're still in control. So we thank you. We give your name praise. Amen.
Amen. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, are there any awards, proclamations, or acknowledgments?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right, moving on to the approval of the consent agenda and pull list. Are there any pulls, deletions, or deferrals? All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Burke,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Davis. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Pygott.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Mr. Mayor,
Oh, Madam Attorney? Madam Clerk?
we have a request to amend the agenda as follows. 14-1, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, opposing House Bill 1209 and Senate Bill 1522, which would make it easier to dissolve vulnerable municipalities in spite of the meaningful attempts made to address financial matters and other municipal concerns to achieve compliance, providing for distribution of this resolution, an effective date, and providing for adoption, sponsored by Commissioner Kelly and Vice Mayor Davis. 14-1.
All right, do I have a motion to
Move it.
add this to the agenda?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly, second by Vice Mayor Davis. On the financial the emergency situation for the add-on.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
the financial emergency, because as you know, the House and Senate are in session, and this bill is being considered in some of the committees, and I think it's appropriate that we send a message of our opinion of what we believe, and because of the time frame, I believe it fits the criteria, and having asked the attorney to make sure that the language reflected such, and she's indicated and that it does, so that's why I proposed the item.
Is there any discussion on the add-on to add this to the agenda? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Vice Mayor Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Mayor Pygott.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly,
Second.
second by Commissioner Burke. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Pygott.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
Do I have a motion to approve the regular commission meeting minutes for February 26, 2020?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Davis.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Burke. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Mayor Pygott.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right, District 1 report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners Larry Gardner, District 1, Commissioner Barbara Jordan's office. I don't have any reports or announcements tonight, but I'll take any concerns back to the Commissioner.
Anything for Commissioner Barbara Jordan's office?
Oh, no, well, Mr. Mayor, thank you. Just want to tell Commissioner Jordan, thank you for, I know we had a lot of concerns about the water billing and the customer service aspect. Saw an email from our manager that said that he scheduled a meeting and they'll be following up on those matters. So just want to extend a thank you to the commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
thank you. I know that the manager will probably be in touch, but just on the radar, because we're going to be planning and working on a park summit and leisure services that we want to see going forward for our community. And we definitely want the commissioners' input through some of the county parks and recreation that we've done in the past. We've had them involved because, you know, the county park system is one of the best in the country. So put that on the radar. Hopefully, as emails come down, you'll always be aware of it, or should be aware of it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Will do.
All right, just want to give our thanks to Commissioner Barbara Jordan for her full support with our water billing, trash, roads, and even this talk about people trying to take our rights to rule here. But I want to thank her for her stern support and making sure the county is support behind us. So thank you very much, Mr. Gardner.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. All right, District 2. All right, Madam Clerk, are there any public presentations?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right, moving on to Citizens Forum. Citizens Forum is an opportunity for our residents and people in the community to have a platform to express their First Amendment rights in this public setting. Please note that everything you say is being recorded, including your name and address, which you must state at the beginning of your remarks. You will have 3 minutes to speak. The clock is over to my right, to your left. At the end of Citizens Forum, the Commission and City Manager will have 3 minutes to respond to any issues raised by those who speak. Please note this is not a time in which we can go back and forth and answer questions. So you can ask your questions, and then once everyone's complete, that's when we'll be able to respond as much as possible. So please move forward. Citizens Forum is open.
Good evening. My name is Jacqueline R. Lloyd. My address is P.O. Box 771376. P.O. Box 771376, Coral Spring, Florida 33077. I have a property on 2015 Lincoln Avenue. I bought this property in 2012. I been paying my water bill. These are my tenants. I brought 4 tenants here. We got 4 one-bedroom apartments with 1 efficiency. I am being charged a flat rate for commercial. I been having a dialogue with everyone, and to avail is not working out. Now, I found a bill that came to me for $20,000. From January 1st to February 1st, I have to pay a $2,800 bill. And they say they're charging me a flat rate, which is a commercial rate. I've did all my dialogue to the point that I'm exhausted. I can't sleep at night. And like I said, I bring 4 of my tenants. It was told to me that my tenants is using the water. We did the little tablets today, and it's not leaking. So these are my 4 tenants out of 5. And I don't see how I'm going to be paying $2,800 for a 1-month water bill, $2,800 for 1 month water bill when I'm only collecting $3,300 a month for rent. So I'm at the point now, I'm getting frustrated to sell the building, but I can't even look in my tenants' eyes and explain to them because they've been there for over 11 years before I got the building, and I got to let her know that I'm planning on selling the building, and I don't think it's fair to me. And I've been paying, and I talked to Ms. I forgot her name, from Dade County, and she said they're going to look into it, but it's nothing they can do. And they're going back and charging me back for 2018 for late charge and everything else. And when they told me I got a credit and everything was fine, now I'm paying $2,800 for 90 gallons of water, and I don't think it's fair to the tenants. So I just need somebody to help out. I'm begging for help, but there's nothing else I can do. I'm going over and over. I went to the county. I went to everybody, and I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm just asking for somebody to please look into it, because I'm getting charged the same rate for a 4-unit and 1 efficiency for like a regular commercial building with 25 units, and it's not fair. So they're telling me, and it's going to go up, so I'm going to pay, she said I'm going to pay at least $3,500 a month for water. And it's not fair. I did everything, it's not fair, sir. Thanks.
2015 Lincoln Avenue.
Dottie Johnson, 13724 Northwest 22nd Place, Opa-locka. Good evening to the mayor, vice mayor, and commission and staff. You probably can't answer, but I am very disturbed on the article, and I normally don't go by anything I read in the newspaper, because once a reporter told me bad news sell, and that's what I'm here to write, bad news. But I'm very concerned about the article, the full-page article that was in last week Miami Times. And I'm hoping and I'm praying none of it is true. Although I always believed that there was a master plan last in 18. But nevertheless, we're going to have to move this city to a positive posture. And if we can have any sidebar, because I am so upset. I am so very upset to see from 2017 when they tried to take the city and to see the partnerships that was bond. But I want you to know this. The little eating spot that was in Miami Garden, the chef was my first boyfriend, a childhood friend. And mostly every time the group presided there, and some of the things that was told, he's now dead. But there's a lot of things that I take to my grave with me, because the battle is not mine, it's the Lord. Thank you.
Eric Redner, 2766, Villa Francine. Let me start out by saying thank you, Commissioner Kelly. Thank you, Commissioner Bass. I don't see her. The manager, former Commissioner Johnson, Mr. Ashad, Mr. King, and most of all, Ms. Wilma Wilcox, for helping us with Villa Francine. It finally got clean. It was previous managers that came here and kept promising us they were going to do this and they do that, but this man got it done. Ms. Wilcox, a God-sent angel, she got it done. Commissioner Kelly, who I bugged so much about that, he got it done. So I want to say thank you very much to those individuals that took part in this. Thank you. We really appreciate that. Now, I done got the pleasantries out the way. I'm upset too, but I'm upset about something differently. You know, you got a citizen that comes here and they say they love Opa-locka, but they moved out of Opa-locka. They say they loved Opa-locka, but they moved their establishment out of Opa-locka. They say they found Jesus while incarcerated. But every time they stand to this podium, they either bashing you all or bashing a citizen. Now, Mr. Mayor, I think decorum plays some part in that as well, because y'all constantly let Brian Dennis come up here, and now he even has a podcast where he's bashing Opa-locka, and y'all allow him to do this. But if I come up here and I say something, you're stopping me, you're saying, no, I can't do this and I can't do that. He's not Opa-locka's savior. He is not. But you all allow him to do certain things up here. as if he was God. Commissioner Kelly, Mayor Paget, y'all have y'all faiths. And I'm assuming you deeply rooted in your faith. And Lord knows you all have taken quite a verbal beating from me. But you've never once belittled me. But this man who says he's so-called religious, he comes up here and belittles people. It needs to stop. Thank you.
Uh, 2015 Lincoln Avenue. My name is Yvette Smith. I came in. I'm one of Ms. Lloyd tenants. The water bill that you have is impossible because I've been saying that 17 years. And I don't see how I can get that high. Because me, I stay alone, have no children, a dog, a cat, or none of that. And for the bill to be high like that, it's impossible. I walks the building and everything. I watches everything around that building. It's like a lighthouse. So I don't feel it's fair that the money she paid, that she have to pay is fair. Because some people that was there, they're not even there no more. People that's in and out of the complex. So how could the water be that high when sometimes you only have 2 tenants? Next thing you know, you may have 4. Next thing you know, you may have the whole 5. So where is the water going? We're not bathing with it, and we're not drinking it because I buy my water. I don't drink that water. But I don't feel it's fair for her to have to pay that money like that. It's something could be did, and I know. God said high, and he looked low. But it's something going to be did. It's in his hands now. Something going to be did about that. Thank you.
How y'all doing? My name is James Davis, and she's my sister. And we stay in the same neighborhood. I got no wife.
State your address. State your address.
(2015) Lincoln Avenue. I don't have no wife, no kids stay with me. I stay by myself. Now y'all see me, I'm a skinny man. And I don't need to put that much water on me. I give him a glass of water, pour on me, take me a barrel. Ain't no way our water bill is that high. I can't see that. I mean, we don't have no pool. If we have a pool, yeah. But we ain't got no pool. You know, we stay by ourselves. I mean, I don't know what's going on. But they say it's our fault, but it ain't our fault. I don't have no wife, no kid, nobody stay with me. I stay by myself. Okay? I buy my own water at Walgreens. I don't use that, I don't drink that water. And like I said, I don't understand. Why is that high? I can't.
How y'all doing? My name is Prince Edwards, stay in 2015, Lincoln, apartment 1. I also don't see how it could be $20,000 for that. Most of us, we stay to ourselves. There's not that much people in there. Majority of the people, as you can see, is right here. I just moved in. I'm 5-6 months. And there's no explanation behind this. My landlord about to tell me that basically she's gonna sell her property. I'm not knowing nothing of this until today. This press right here is affecting every last one of us, whether we know it or not, because some of us don't got the same situation. Me, I'm a John Doe. None of my family stay down here. So if she got to sell her property, I don't got nowhere to go. So like, I feel like to her, at the most, she should deserve an explanation behind this or anything that could be done to bring this down. Like, everybody in here who got that same problem with this, the water, they really deserve an explanation. So like, If y'all can, best way possible, show y'all interest and just see what y'all can do for us. It might not affect y'all right now, but it affect us. That's why we here today. So I truly appreciate it if y'all can do something. If y'all can't, at least give us an explanation why y'all can't do nothing. Thank y'all.
Citizens forum is open.
Good morning. Good morning. Lamar Jackson Jr., 650 Dunad Avenue, 33054. Good morning, Mayor, everyone. Mayor, I see you on a video every day, reference to the city of Opa-locka being taken, sold, or what have you. So if we know any status of what's going on now, we would love to know what's going on with that. Because we all look at the videos all the time, reference to that. So if we know any status on there, we saw you on camera and all that. And so if you can let us know what is the status and what we have, would it come down to this? What we have to decide whether we want to keep Opa-locka or not. We want Opa-locka. It's historic, and that's what we want to make sure we do that. I came by your office one day, but I spoke to you on the way out when you were coming out. But I said, I'll come to this and I'll see. All right? That's it. Appreciate it.
Citizens forum is open. Citizens forum is closed.
Mr. Mayor.
To my colleagues.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you. That address for the complex, 2310 Lincoln, because I couldn't hear some of them. That's what I was asking.
2015 Lincoln Avenue.
2015.
Yes.
Oh, I heard 2310, 2015. They said they had spoken to the county and the city. I guess the question I really have to the manager, has anyone spoken to you about that issue? And is that because they mentioned it's 4 units and 1 efficiency. So is the rate that they're being charged different because of the
commercial status of the property?
zoning? Pardon me?
Could be zoning, it could be through the mayor. Could be zoning, could be commercial status. This is the first time I'm hearing of this address, so I'm going to put out an inquiry tonight to Miami-Dade County to see what research they've done and see if they try to do any troubleshooting, such as changing out meters and any other troubleshooting they've done to kind of monitor the water and try to come to a conclusion of why the bill is the way it is now.
Right, and of course, let us know, because I think the owner said she had already talked to somebody in the county, and I guess they didn't convey to us what was going on, so she felt like she had to come here. So in your discussions, I know the mayor's had some meetings with the county commissioner on this as well, how we can kind of streamline and make this better, because they're still our residents, even though the county is servicing water. But if you can find that out and definitely let the owner know, and obviously let us know so that we can address it. It does sound high to me, just thinking about it and where it's located. So I'll wait on your report and your finding to address the concern, and want to let them know that it will be addressed. We'll look into it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Burke.
Mr. Mayor, Ms. Lloyd came to the office today, and me, the city manager, sat down with her, and the city manager took her to Ms. Brannon. I don't know what happened after that, but I think the city manager said that they're going to research. I thought we were talking about a prior bill, but from what she's saying now, sound like she's saying now her bill is going to be $2,800 a month. She's being charged a commercial fee. I don't know anything about that, so I guess we would put that in the hands of the city manager. But like I said, she did come into my office today, and me and the assistant city manager sat with her, and we took her to Ms. Brannon, came over and got her, and I don't know anything from there, but she was in office today. Thank you, sir.
All right. First of all, I want to thank the citizens for coming out. This is exactly what we need to do, is to bring these issues to us as a commission so that we know what's going on. Give you some understanding. Over the past about 2 years ago, we contracted with Miami-Dade County to come in to replace all of our defective water meters and to start to do the actual billing. That transition has started to happen, actually the handling of the accounts in the past almost 9 months. So as you know, with huge change, kinks can happen sometimes. And we've been meeting with the county and their representatives to try and flush those things out. So bringing these individual issues to us as a commission gets us to put an alert so where we can ask the city manager to move forward with that. So the city manager will provide a report. Mr. Grice, I want to make sure that he connects with you because he's our legislative aide to the commission, and he'll keep us abreast about what's going on. I want to know the details of this particular case because we've heard other cases, but I want to know what's going on with this one. So thank you for coming out to the city to address this, and we hear your concerns and we'll take care of them moving forward. In regards to the State House Bill 1209 and the Senate Bill, oh, I forgot this. 1229. What's the Senate? Oh, 1522. It's 1522, yeah. Right in front of me. So with in terms of Tallahassee, with the Senate Bill 1522, that is basically effectively dead. It hasn't moved in the committees. When it comes to House Bill 1209, it was going into its third committee and it has not been heard. And I believe right now they have wrapped up all the committee meetings in Tallahassee as of either last week or this week. So it would take extraordinary effort of them to change the procedure to get the committee heard and to move it to both the House and the Senate for anything to happen this year. However, this is an ongoing thing, and we need to make sure that we as a citizenry are made aware of what's going on, and we're doing what we need to do. So one of the things that the people did, first of all, was to make sure we elected all new people. We got a new commission up here that's moving the city forward. We got a new city manager, a new city attorney that are tackling these issues one by one. So it's going to take us some time to go through and address all the issues to transform this city and get it back on its feet. It's taking some time, and that's what we're in the midst of. And so just be patient with us, but also stay aware of what's going on and let people know in the county, in Tallahassee, and here how proud you are to be a part of the city and making sure that we have self-rule and can manage our tax dollars. So that's what we need from our citizens to understand, be aware of this, and make sure that we're here, because at the end of the day, the buck gonna stop with the citizens. If it ever comes up, it's gonna be the citizens that decide. So as long as citizens are aware of what's going on, nobody outside of Opa-locka can dissolve us as a city. No one. It is on us. So we just need to make sure that we are aware of what's going on, kept abreast of the changes that we're making, so that we're holding our government accountable. And that's what we're here to do. So I want to thank those concerns. Madam Attorney, one of the gentlemen brought up issues about, I guess, decorum when addressing the commission. Could you provide a legal opinion in regards to the slandering or saying someone's name, identifying people as individuals to the commission? So I want to make sure that that is made available to the public, because based upon our understanding of the law, we sit on this dais as a commission, for those of us in the room. Nothing happens in the city unless we as a full commission, or at least three, make decisions on behalf of the city to do policy efforts. So we direct the city manager to make decisions, but we cannot direct him individually. We can't get anything done individually as a commission, even a person. That's why we select the city manager, city attorney, as city clerk to move on the things that we need to do. So it takes us all, and you got to hold all of us accountable for what we do as a city. So we'll provide that information so that residents is very clear about the protocol and decorum when coming to address the whole commission and any other issues that are being brought up. With that said, Citizens Forum is closed, and it's time for us to get down to the business of the commission. So let's go to the action items. And Madam Attorney, since we still have this language above the consent agenda that says that all the consent agenda resolution will be read by title, could you go ahead and read those consent agendas by title until we correct that issue?
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving the Fleet Management Master Equity Lease Agreement with Enterprise FM Trust, a Delaware statutory trust, and authorizing the city manager to execute said agreement pursuant to Emergency Resolution Number 20-9736, passed by the City Commission on February 26, 2020, and authorizing the lease of up to 10 police vehicles pursuant to the open-end equity lease rate quote for a total monthly rental amount of $674.32 per vehicle, providing for adoption of representations, providing for an effective date, sponsored by the city manager. Item number 2, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, approving a maintenance agreement for newly leased vehicles and maintenance management and fleet rental agreement for current fleet vehicles with Enterprise Fleet Management, Inc., a Missouri corporation, and authorizing the city manager to execute said agreement pursuant to Emergency Resolution Number 20-9736, passed by the City Commission on February the 26th, 2020, providing for adoption of representations, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
All right, so those items have been approved. Madam Clerk, is that correct, when we approve the consent agenda? All right, moving on to item 14.1, a new item.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, opposing House Bill 1209 and Senate Bill 1522, which would make it easier to dissolve vulnerable municipalities in spite of meaningful attempts made to address financial matters and other municipal concerns to achieve compliance, providing for distribution of this resolution, providing for an effective date, and providing for adoption.
Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly. Second by Commissioner Burke. The floor is open for discussion.
Just want to thank the attorney and the manager for putting it together. I know it was a short term, and although, as you indicated, Mr. Mayor, it's highly unlikely something's going to happen, but, you know, we live in a time where things change so quickly, and I wanted to make sure we were on record in opposition to this going forward, and that's what it's theirs, but I do want to thank them for being able to get it done quickly, to get it to the agenda. So it's very clear that we want to keep our city, love our city, and it's on record, and going forward, that'll already be stated. Thank you.
Anyone else? Madam Attorney, may Commissioner Burke and I know Commissioner Bass can't speak up. Can we add on as co-sponsors to this item?
Absolutely.
All right. So I wish it would be for the full commission. I think this is more important that it's a full commission sponsoring this item. So I'm going to add my name on. Commissioner Burke. Commissioner Burke want to add his name on so that we're there. And I know, and I would love to make sure Commissioner Bass is on here. But yes, we're going to add this as co-sponsors. All right. So there being no further discussion on this item, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Burke?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Mayor Pygott?
Yes.
Motion passes 4-0.
All right, Madam Attorney, 16A1.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending the annual adopted general proprietary and special revenue funds budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2020, adjusting revenues and expenditures as reflected in Exhibit A, providing for expenditure of funds established by the budget, authorizing the city manager to take certain actions, providing for appropriation of all budgets and expenditures, providing for fees consistent with the appropriations, and amendment, providing for incorporation collection of recitals, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
All right, do I have a motion on the floor? Oh, this is public hearing, sorry. Public hearing item number 16A1 is open.
Dottie Johnson, 13724 Northwest 22nd Place, Opa-locka. While I was attending one of the CRA meetings, a question came up about the budget for CRA. And at that time, it was stated from staff there was not a budget. In this here particular legislation, I see that all monies from the CRA with the TIF will go inserted into the budget. How could that be? It may be, let me stand corrected in the public. Where is the budget for the CRA? They've had several meetings, so I would like to, I'll come tomorrow and make a public record request, because I'm sure it's going to be dated prior to now, to see the CRA budget. And I would like to just see it for all the years. Thank you.
Public hearing is open on 16A1. Public hearing is closed. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Burke.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Davis. Any discussion on this item? All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, I know you weren't there today, but I appreciate your budget director meeting with me to kind of clarify some things. I would hope going forward, this is on first reading, but I would hope as a part of this process dealing with the budget overall, even though this is dealing with a budget amendment, that you all would incorporate that process of percentages on a quarterly, where departments, and we would even know for that matter, where they are in their financials in terms of line items. I know years ago, and I indicated to him as such, you know, the first quarter ought to be 22% or 36% or whatever it is, and it's out of whack way. It should be some reason why it should be. So if you can incorporate that some way going forward, I would appreciate it, because it'll make it a lot easier even when you do the budget amendments, because we would know why they're coming and what have you in advance without having to take up so much time and meetings to get a specific line item we would already kind of know. But I appreciate that going forward, and I know this will not be the last budget amendment, so I just want to put that out there first. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else? All right. First of all, I do want to give kudos to the manager and the new budget administrator. Usually, since I've been sitting on this dais, I have always tore up the budget and the budget amendment and asked for supplemental documents because of the lack of clarity in terms of what things were being used for. And this format definitely lays that out. I do want to piggyback on what Commissioner Kelly said and also adding in information about what is spent year to date so that we're clear about where these departments are in their expenditures moving forward. So with that, I'm actually pretty satisfied with this budget. I want to thank you for the work you're putting in to make this happen and look forward to the rest of the budget amendments moving forward. All right, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Burke.
Yes.
Mayor Pygott.
Yes.
Motion passes first reading.
Madam Attorney, 16A1 or A2.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 4, Division 1, entitled Purchasing of the City of Opa-locka's Code of Ordinances, specifically amending Section 2-315 to delete the definition of commodity, transfer certain language pertaining to exclusions for contractual services to Section 2-318 of the City's Code of Ordinances, providing for a deletion for definition of supplies and replacing the word commodities with the word supplies in Section 2-315, providing for a definition of a request for letters of interest, RLI, providing for a definition for requests for qualifications, amending Section 2-316 to clarify the authority of the city manager relating to purchases of supplies and contractual services, amending, replacing, and renumbering Sections 2-317, 2-318, 2-319, 2-320, and 2-323 of the city's Code of Ordinances, renumbering all other sections as appropriate, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the city manager.
Public hearing on item 16A2 is open. Public hearing on item 16A2 is closed. Do I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Vice Mayor Davis.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Burke. Any discussion on this item?
Not really any discussion, but kudos to the administration for cleaning up this policy. This ordinance, I think, satisfies 12 of the 99 findings from the Auditor General, which is great. I think I do have a question as it relates to the CRA and the finding that speaks specifically to legal services and the way contracts are procured. I think it was finding 99, and just wanted to know if that would be addressed in this in this overhaul of the purchasing policy.
Madam Attorney?
Well, Commissioner, would you consider bringing this up for the CRA? We can certainly address it now, but for the CRA as well, since it deals with the CRA issue. To the extent that that was done, there is a Florida statute that addresses contractual services with attorneys, and it is not a requirement that it be procured. You all did procure legal services for the city attorney, services for Opa-locka, and as you have done in the past, you've used that attorney to service the CRA, which makes sense because you deal with so many similar issues. But I don't know how Mr. Gay is intending to address that, but the way that I would recommend addressing it is that it is not a requirement that it be procured based on the Florida statutes. So I don't know why that finding was there. That, like some of the other findings, I would take exception with. But I think that the issue, once you do bring it up, if you do choose to discuss it now, you could also discuss it before the CRA board as well.
Okay, so we'll save it for another date. But thank you, Madam Attorney.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly?
Thank you. With this ordinance going forward, is there anything, I guess maybe to the manager more so, is there anything in the pipeline that will be impacted by this ordinance going forward?
Mr. Manager?
No, Commissioner, there's nothing currently in the pipeline. This actually addressed issues that we had before. One concerning the emergency procurement request for the vehicles. If this was in place prior to that, we probably would not require emergency procurement for the vehicles because we'd be allowed to use national contracts compared to just being limited to Florida and in the area. But no, we don't have anything in the pipeline moving forward that would affect this. This essentially actually puts us in line based on best practices and what other municipalities do as far as purchasing. There was a very low threshold that was in the previous ordinance that required pretty much almost everything to be procured through an RFP process. It provides department heads and directors with a little bit more levity as far as being able to conduct purchases at $1,000 and below or $2,500 and below. It requires more quotes to be submitted for things not going to RFP. They actually have to submit formalized quotes through the manager's office. The manager's office has to approve it. Most of those transactions. So it creates more of a paper trail, not just calling somebody you know or just calling one or two businesses and getting something. They actually have to document the process.
And that's what leads me to make sure not only if there was in the pipeline, but going forward, how you structure this. Because one of the challenges I've had in the past on who sits on some of these or how that process goes with these evaluations in procurement or purchasing and all those kind of things that go together, how that's been structured. In my opinion, sometimes the folks that need to be a part of that process have not been a part of that process, particularly those who are as I call it, in the trenches. And I always give an example when you're dealing with public works, the person that goes down the ground with the pipes needs to be a part of that process when you're buying the pipe. So you don't buy the pipe that looks good, everybody thinks good, they go down there, so they know what really needs to go. But a lot of times when you're dealing with purchase and procurement, they don't even have an input or say so until after the fact, and then they're expected to work miracles when they weren't asked. So I'm glad to see that the way you're structuring this will be a lot better. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Actually, I think that's a good point. Could you explain how the selection committee is identified, and does this legislation speak to that?
So as far as the selection committee being identified to do ratings on an RFP is what you're speaking of? Who sits on the panel for RFPs that come in? So typically, the way it's done is staff is chosen based on various different departments, and it's a diverse group. We do want to have people that are involved in that specific area to be on the panel, but we'll also invite others, maybe somebody from the finance department, other departments, to sit on those panels when we're looking through those applications to give a more diversified look and opinion as far as financial analysis and various other issues that may occur when you're looking at these contracts or proposals as they come in.
And so the selection committee is identified by yourself, the city manager's office?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion on this item? All right. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Burke,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Davis,
Yes.
Mayor Pikett.
Yes.
Motion passes first reading.
All right, Mr. Manager, your report.
Good evening, everybody. Mayor and commission, staff, and residents. The last 2 weeks have been very adventurous for the city of Opa-locka. I've attended multiple meetings in regards to the city operations, one being a meeting with Commissioner Barbara Jordan's office, discussing our water and sewer billing process and our relationship with Miami-Dade County in the areas of customer service and providing information to our residents moving forward. We'll be scheduling a workshop sometime in April-May timeframe for our residents to come out to be able to ask questions to members of Miami-Dade County Water and Sewer Department, as well as representatives and liaison from the city manager's office and the various city departments, and kind of touch that process. So that is coming to you soon, and we'll be putting out a date for that shortly. We have myself and the mayor attended a meeting. All mayors and managers were required to attend a mandatory meeting at the county building, and we're talking about the current virus that is being spread within the United States and across the country, discussing techniques in order to minimize liability and minimize issues within our community. And that was a very informative meeting, and the city is putting out information on social media, and we'll probably more likely than not be doing mailers in regards to those various issues. We did receive guidance today to do a huge push on all our senior facilities that we have to put out information in regards to the virus, kind of give signs and warning signs of potential symptoms that may occur. Knowing that this virus does have a huge impact of our senior population as well as our youth. So we will be doing that. The city is implementing new sanitation processes within the city's building. Unfortunately, everything is sold out. So Perel and all our big names of things that we use for sanitation is sold out, but we do have the stations coming. Everything is on back order, but we're trying to get those things. The county just put out an email in regards to providing protective equipment to our public safety personnel today. So I spoke to the chief, and he will be working on that and making sure our police department is well equipped on the street to protect themselves from this epidemic. As well as ensuring the staff understands the signs and be able to identify, understand, and kind of educate our residents if they come to the city hall or they call or however they communicate with the city. So the city of Opa-locka is going to start pushing this very heavily starting probably towards the end of the week. You're going to see it on social media. You're probably going to see it on our billboard, electronic billboard, and whatever other means of communication that the city possibly has to kind of put this information out. We've been dealing with our 99 findings and doing bi-weekly reports to the commission. That's available to the public if a public records request is done. We are making progress in regards to our 99 findings, making sure policies are implemented. Policies that are not implemented, find an action plan or locating the reason why policies cannot be implemented. Things that are identified that can be resolved through legislation is being presented to the commission. Things that can be resolved through the manager's office. We're doing internal policy through individual departments. Those policies are being reviewed by myself and by the assistant city manager, as well as the budget administrator, who's kind of heading this project for me. We kind of get together and review these policies to make sure they're sufficient moving forward. So that concludes my report, unless the commission has any specific questions. Oh, I do want to talk about Meet Me Monday. I had an outstanding time at Meet Me Monday. I was expecting a more lively crowd. I guess I must have said the right things, because I ended up leaving not as beat up as I thought it would be. But I expect, in this role, right, you expect to hear the hard questions. And I appreciate our residents that come out, that are very vocal. I will tell you, everybody that spoke today, your concerns were written down and taken very much seriously. If anybody saw me up here while everybody was talking, I'm sending out emails to Miami-Dade Water as you all were talking, requesting an update on this issue and try to see what we can do to kind of troubleshoot. Just in general, and just to be very honest, typically the way we troubleshoot is they're going to probably come out, change the meters a couple times to see if there's a meter read issue or if there's water infiltration and various different things like that. I'm sure those are the processes they're going to take to kind of assist you, and I'll make sure that happens moving forward. So now I have taken ownership of your issue, so assure you that it will be addressed. At this point, I don't have anything else, Mayor, unless any commissioners or anybody has any questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Manager. Anything for the manager? All right, moving on to the Mayor and Commissioner report.
Before you go there, Mr. Mayor, might I announce?
Yes, Madam.
At this time, Commissioners, I would like to announce an executive session, and I wanted to ask about you all's schedule specifically for the 4:30 time, which will be before the meeting on the 25th. You do have a CRA meeting at 5 o'clock, but I was wondering if we could meet at 4:30 for the executive session for 30 minutes, and this will be after we meet with each of you. But if that works, I'll make the announcement. I did get the time from the clerk, and if that's fine, well, okay.
Right. Is it possible to push it to the 8th then?
Push it to the what date?
The 8th, April 8th? Or is that too much time?
Well, I think we're trying to have it heard by you as quickly as possible. I mean, the other alternative is we meet with each of you and put it on an agenda, on that agenda that night.
Madam Attorney?
Yes.
We do have a workshop coming up. We probably could hold it before the workshop.
I don't know if we'll have plenty of time. I want to have enough time to sit down and meet with everybody who wants to sit down, and so I would just be cautious about doing it next week.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that 4:30 time is taking more time off of work, man. I gotta work. So you can't be at 4:30?
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just hold up on the announcement, and I'll plan to meet with all of you, and if it looks like it can move, it'll move.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Attorney. All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly, you said you had some.
That's what I was going to say. I think Commissioner Kelly had something.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Manager, I wanted to thank you for coming to Meet Me Monday. And yeah, they did give you a little pass your first time, but you did articulate what was going on and the progress in the city. So I do want to thank you for coming. I know you mentioned a while back, and I don't know where it is in the process, on the Culture Arts Building. If you could provide us with an update on where that is in the process, and your plans or your thoughts about it in terms of the build out. And also, some of the items that was mentioned to me Monday, I'll follow up, so I won't go into those. But I'd also like to set up a meeting with Parks and Recs and yourself. I know we're going to talk about the Park Summit for down the road at some point. But I want to be inclusive because in talking to the, I think it's Ms. McKinney from Peace Swap, I want to make sure this year we get the seniors component as a part of that program, because I've had a lot of seniors ask about swimming, as a part of it. I know they do things with the kids, but I had a lot of seniors ask me since last year about a swimming component just for the seniors in the time frame. So I'd like to set up a meeting to address that before we get too far down the road to the, to the summer.
Understood.
So
would next week work, Wednesday?
I will find out because I didn't, we were supposed to meet today, but you couldn't make it, so I didn't want to. But I wanted to mention it tonight so I wouldn't forget. And we can come up with a time that's amenable to your schedule and with them. So I want to do that. Everything else I can send you in terms of email. Thank you, Samir.
Yeah. Through the mayor, response to Commissioner Kelly. As far as the Cultural Arts Building, we are moving forward with renovations to the building. It is going to be a standard build out. The use of the building hasn't been determined yet. Of course, the monies that were earmarked had to be used based on a specific amount of time, so we couldn't hold off on the renovation. I still kind of hold the commission to the fire on this because I do need the commission's input and how that building will be utilized. I know it's going to be a part of the Parks and Recreation Department, but what actually goes on in that building, we do not have any clear direction. I know there was discussions before, but nothing ever was concluded on and how that building was going to be used.
Mr. Mayor?
Commissioner Kelly.
I was trying to myself hold off because I wanted to make it a part of the summit and the whole overall picture where we're going, but if we need to move faster on that because of the time frame, then I have no problem with doing that. So maybe my colleagues can let you know how they feel. I definitely let you know how I feel to set up a time frame. I know your meeting for next week is deal with fiscal policy or something, so probably can't get it in the end.
So we got strategic planning, so we can discuss.
Strategic planning, but I mean just for that part to deal with that building, not the whole leisure services, but if it's possible to just deal with that since you need some direction, because of the time frame, I would hope, Mr. Mayor, that we can, my colleagues include that for the strategic planning next week or whatever you have.
Wednesday, yes.
Is that possible? Is that possible? I don't know you've done your agenda yet. That's what I'm asking.
Okay. We can discuss anything that we want during our workshops. So if that's something we want to add to the agenda, we can do that. In regards to this particular item, one of the things requested from the manager is that we have the Parks Director do a comprehensive analysis of all of our parks, all of our facilities, all of our staffing, and the budget, and come up with different types of programming that we have. As you know, this is a building that we've been talking about getting renovated for quite a bit. We hosted a workshop out there with residents, and there's still confusion. But I think what we need to be able to make sure we do is have a comprehensive understanding of all of our facilities, what it takes in terms of staffing, what can we do in different areas, so and what that looks like. So hopefully once we receive that report, there'll be some ideas about what we can do in each particular facility, and be able to staff it and budget it in the right way. And hopefully we'll have some creative things like maybe a dance studio, a game studio, a tutoring center. There's a lot of things we could do once we understand what we have, what we're working with, and also what our partners and the community can do. So once we receive that comprehensive report, then let's talk about it, and let's bring all these ideas together and figure out what we need to do.
Mr. Mayor, I have no problem with that, but if I'm hearing the manager correctly, he has some time deadlines that he's trying to meet with regard to not only what they're doing, but what we're going to do with it. So the bigger picture is what you said, get the bigger report from Parks and more comprehensive, and that's why I said we'd hold off on the summit. But if I'm hearing correctly, he needs some input kind of right now on that specific
Right, 'cause
building.
there is-
That's why I was referencing that if he hasn't done his agenda already for the workshop, at least add just that portion. We're in agreement on waiting on the report, because we're talking about all of our park facilities, and that's why I don't want to just say parks, I want to call it leisure services. But if I'm understanding him correctly, he's referencing that building because of the money and the time constraints and the funding. If I'm correct, Mr. Manager, is that what you're referencing?
That's correct, because the work is going on as I speak. Work is being conducted on that building. I did a commenced work on that building, I think, 2 weeks ago. So work will be begun, if it hasn't begun, shortly.
Okay, well, I would suggest then to my colleagues, if that's the case, at least put that part on the agenda for the workshop and deal with that since the manager needs some direction. And then when we get the comprehensive report that he's working on, obviously we'll have more discussion and probably take a whole whatever for that, if I'm incorrect. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you. We'll put that on the agenda. Anything else for the manager?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Burt?
Mr. Manager, I would like to say I appreciated you Monday night at Meet Me Mondays also. I think the residents, you really informed the residents. I think you gave them some reassurance that our city is on the right track. But what I would like to see, or with you and IT, when or what are the possibilities of us getting Opa TV up and running again? I'm tired of the residents coming to me, asking me questions about stuff they seen on Facebook. Facebook is good for social media, but I think for us to get our message out, we need to let our citizens know through our own media. When Opa TV was up and running, Opa TV was very informative. And I would like to know what's the problem with us not having Opa TV again at this time?
So I can answer some of those questions. If the IT director wants to come up and answer some more, that'd be great. You can come up. I think part of that is not having a current franchise agreement in place. And I know there's some other issues going on, but he can give you more thorough information.
Good evening, Mayor Commission. Nelson Rodriguez, Director of IT. The main reason why the channel was dissolved was the channel was given to the city as part of our franchise agreement. That was when each municipality had franchise agreements with the cable provider. That was removed, and now the franchise agreement is only with the state of Florida. So in order for the city, if we want to have that channel back, we have to pay for it. It's a cost now at about $750 per month, plus equipment. So that's something that we're looking right now to do in the budget amendment to bring back the channel at our expense now. But remember that will only be seen by customers of Comcast. So if you have AT&T, DirecTV, if you have Hulu or stream YouTube TV, you will not see the channel. So when we do make that recommendation to the manager, we're going to get the number of subscribers that we have in Opa-locka and weigh out the financial cost versus the amount of subscribers we have. If we're only reaching 10% of Opa-locka, we have to make a decision whether it's a financially stable or stable decision. But that's being worked out.
And
now.
also, I think in the 21st century, looking in that, I know the IT department is looking at a YouTube TV channel, a YouTube channel that we can put our meetings and stuff on. I know a lot of people follow YouTube as well as Facebook, so we want to try to be as technology savvy as possible. So I would ask if we can kind of look at maybe creating a YouTube channel for the city to kind of post the meetings and kind of go from there. Is that possible?
It's funny you say that. Tonight's the first night we're streaming on our YouTube channel.
There you go.
So, yeah, that's happening right now.
Awesome.
But
Thank you, sir.
But I will bring that information back to the manager so you can distribute it to the commission, and we'll have that information in front of you.
As always, you exceed my expectations, Director. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, that concludes the manager's report. Mayor and commission. Oh, actually, hold on, I'm sorry. I had this question. Mr. Manager, I'm looking at 2 Easter egg events in the city, few days after each other. Both of them sponsored by the City Opa-locka Mayor and Commission, with different partnerships. Could you explain how events are orchestrated in the city, and why we'll have more than one event, and also how do we as commission host them? Because, yeah, I was not provided any of this information to host or be a part of this.
So to answer your question, the same time you were notified is probably the same time I realized there were 2 events, and I actually shift that over to Commissioner Kelly, because I know he is organizing the event, but there was not any dialogue with me in regards to that, so I'm unable to kind of answer that question. I know Parks and Recreation was doing the event. I saw that event when we made inquiry about it. The second event, I'm just finding out about it as well. But I know commissioners do have the right to sponsor their own events. I know we're trying to look at ways to do that in a way that is more efficient and effective, but I cannot give you a direct answer on that, Mayor, because that did not come across my desk.
All right, we'll talk about that. All right, Commissioner Kelly.
Thank you. Let me answer that question, Mr. Manager. You should just, like you did, just pass it down here. My britch is big enough. I can speak for myself. Here's what occurred, Mr. Mayor. When I inquired to Parks about the Easter egg hunt, because over the last couple of years, as you know, Ingram has been closed. I was told that they had already made their plans to do an egg hunt at Shabandi at 5:30 on Thursday. I've been going throughout the community over on the east side, and we've opened up Ingram Park, but not with activities like I think we should. And so I wanted to do something on the east side of town for an Easter egg hunt. Because I did not want to interfere or redirect or even give the opinion that staff or the manager should change what they plan, I said, no problem, I'll be there on Thursday, but I still wanted to do something on the east side of town because a lot of those residents don't come across for the egg hunt. So what I did was made sure that it did not conflict with them on theirs, and I decided, like I do with most of the things I do, to go out and get funds that don't cost the city to be able to do it. The reason you see mayor and commission, as you already know because you've been here long enough, any flyer has to have mayor and commission on it. That's by resolution, so that's why you see mayor and commission. I decided to do that because I think we need to promote that park, and we need to get activities back on that park, and the Easter egg hunt, to me, is a simple way, one of the ways we can do it. But rather than to say to the manager or Parks, move your egg hunt over to Ingram and have someone say that I was trying to interfere, I said, they're doing it on Thursday at 5. I'd like to do one on Saturday that does not conflict. And so I will make sure, as I always do with the things that I do, don't have a conflict. Of course, everyone is invited to be there. The vice mayor has consented to co-host it, but that's why you wound up with 2. I would have hoped that they would have just done one and done it over there, but they didn't. So that's how you wind up with 2, and there's more than enough kids in Opa-locka, because the other challenge we've had in the past, a lot of parents have said they can't get to the one at 5:30 on a weekday because a lot of them are still working. And so what better way? You have an opportunity to get to the one on Saturday at 10:30. And so that's how you wind up with 2. But in terms of the flyer, saying mayor and commission because the resolution, all of our flyers have to have mayor and commission on them as a part of the resolution previously passed when you were still a commissioner. So that's why they always say mayor and commission. But like anything else that we do, if any of you want to be a part or what have you, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to be invited. But that's how you wind up with two. Because I've been around long enough to know if I had kind of said, could we do it over there? Then it's, well, Commissioner Kelly trying to make the egg hunt go over there, and that's not my intent. So that's how you wind up with two egg hunts, and that's in the city. The parks will have theirs. They do. And the one that I'm planning on hosting, and graciously that the Vice Mayor accepted to co-host over at Ingham at 10:30 on Saturday morning. Again, we will get things donated, whatever, so it's no cost in terms of the city having to provide twice. So that's how you wind up with two egg hunts, if you will, in the city. Any questions on that, you can ask me now. If not, I'll go ahead and finish my report.
Yeah, I have a few questions, but for you and the manager on this item.
Okay, go ahead.
First, to the manager, will city employees be and funding be expended for both these events?
Again, Mayor, this is the first that I've known of both events. I'm aware of the event that Parks and Recreation is doing is using city funds and city staff. I'm unaware of what resources that the program Commissioner Kelly is sponsoring will have or how that would impact the city. He said that it's private donations, he's getting donations. I don't know about staff. We can answer that question can be answered right now. But as far as the one that's being sponsored by Parks and Recreation, yes, that's city sponsored. That will involve city staff. The one Commissioner Kelly's doing, I don't have full information on that as of this point.
So, but traditionally at all events done in the city, even if someone has to come in and rent, the city staff has to be responsible for prepping the park and cleaning up the park afterwards through services.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. So the other thing, it was mentioned that Commissioner Kelly basically said that there was concerns raised by citizens about having a 5:30 event. If that's the case, why are we still having a 5:30 event as a city?
I'm unaware of the concerns until I just heard them now.
Okay. The third point, how was, I guess, the idea of us hosting it? Because so if I wanted to do an event, I have to do my own event. If Commissioner Bass, Commissioner Burke will do our own event. Like, how do we get to a point to where if there is an event that all of us have the opportunity to contribute to it and host it? Like, how did just Vice Mayor get an opportunity to host it and not, I don't know if Commissioner Burke or anyone else, but I know I didn't know about it.
Well, let me answer it this way, Mr. Mayor. Anytime I've done something, I try to reach out, and I don't want to go too deep in this, but in the past when I've reached out, you know, some folks are not amenable to wanting to co-host or be a part, so I just go ahead. It came about because I did not want to send a message to the manager or parks that I wanted to take over during their event. I'm out in the community all the time, and one of the things that I hear is some of our time frames that we do things are not conducive for the community. And a 5:30 start time, whether it was at Ingham or Shabani for that matter, parents are getting off from work. So they can't get to the event. By the time they get here, it's over. So if I had went to the manager, I'm pretty sure, I went to the manager or Mr. Brown and said, listen, could y'all move us over there to Ingham? They probably would have been amenable. But I've learned, been around long enough, I don't try to get into dictating what staff or what the department wants to do. When they set their time, and the manager may not be aware of it, but I'm pretty sure we went through the manager via Parks and Rec to okay, knowing that we wanted to have it at Ingram. And I don't want to put Mr. Grice on the spot, but I'm quite sure he did that. You know what? I ain't got to go through that. That's why we pay him. Mr. Mayor, could you have Mr. Grice come up? let's go ahead and get this straight right now. Did you not follow through the protocol of going through correctly? Now, the manager may not have known specifically, but we did not bypass him or the process, correct?
Yeah, I sent the email this morning.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't do anything to any department without it going to the manager and to departments. Now, maybe the manager was not communicated from staff specifically, but I always do that. And again, anything that I do, whether it's feeding, whether it's whatever, folks can be involved. You know, Commissioner Burke's involved in the feeding. Commissioner Bass has been involved in movie night and National Day of Prayer. This one, the Vice Mayor happens to co-host. Everybody can co-host, just like that resolution. Everybody can be a part. Going forward in the future, and I'm only going to be here a few more months, anything I do, I don't have a problem with anybody being a part. But I do know that I've heard that from residents who come to me and say they can't get there for some of these things because of the time frame. And this was one of those, and that's why I said I would sponsor on Saturday. And because we have a little time just to go further, I recognize staffing. I recognize when we've had events that require public safety, and the manager, including the chief, will tell you, I always encourage, can we make sure we not have staff that cost us money, even with the MLK walk, because I recognize that there's a cost to everything. But if, staff can't be there or they can't work, I'm not, concerned about the fact of overtime, because that won't take the place of having overtime. But I think it's needed in the community, in the residents on the east side of town, which in my opinion, and if you talk to them, feel neglected. Easter egg hunt is something that we can do, as the manager used that term the other night, and I liked it, is low-hanging fruit that we can do to let our folks know. So that's how it came about. If this commission wants to establish something going forward, how you want to deal with events or whatever, you do it. It's just like no difference, Mr. Mayor. I do maybe Monday. You were doing Packet on the Block because you felt the need to go in the community. You do things that you believe will benefit and help the community, and the egg hunt is just something that I felt that we ought to do. I can come back with every event and have it voted up or down for the commission if I need to, but I'm fully aware and recognize and sensitive to the cost, to the budget and everything else. Any more questions on that before I finish my report?
I'll address it later. Go ahead.
I didn't hear you.
I said I'll address it later. You can go finish your report.
Okay. Well, then I'll reserve the right to respond when you do that. Let me finish up my report. We had Farm Share on last Wednesday here at Shabani Pavilion. Of course, we need to figure out a way, as Commissioner Burke alluded to getting the word out to our residents more, because everybody doesn't have social media or YouTube. And I know we don't do signs anymore, but we got to figure out a way, because although we had a good turnout, it was not usually what we would have for a farm share. And one of the things that I heard from people later on, they just didn't know. Even though we had flyers, we had on our social media pages, they just didn't get the word in time. I know we have the code red, which we don't like to use except for emergencies, but that is a major issue of getting information out to our residents. And that's why when they see something in the Herald or the Time, they tend to gravitate to it, because we have no other medium of getting our message out. But we did do Farm Share. We have our monthly feeding next Friday that I host with Commissioner Burke. As you mentioned, the egg hunt is coming up in April. We also are working on the National Day of Prayer, which comes off May the 7th. And we'll be hosting a meeting with the clergy next month in preparation of that. Again, thank all those for attending Meet Me Monday. I think it was very clear. And just to show you sometime how things work, the Herald had been calling me prior to about Meet Me Monday. I've never gotten a call from the Herald about Meet Me Monday prior to this one. And that's because of the issue of dissolving the city. And it was so ironic, Mr. Manager, you must have did a good job, because I got an email saying, glad for the meeting, and immediate pivot to what are y'all doing about coronavirus. It was like bypass totally Didn't want to hear any more about dissolving because I think you articulated the city's doing much better. So that concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
All right, anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Burke?
Commissioner Kelly, I want to thank you for thinking about the east side and with your Easter egg hunt. I know a lot of times we do tend to forget the east side. Everything is held over here at Shabandi Park now. And we sit up here and we make decisions and we realize we're touching people's lives. We sit up here, we spend all this time, we're talking about an Easter egg hunt for the kids. We're talking about an Easter egg hunt for the kids. And we spend this much time on somebody wanting to do an Easter egg hunt for the kids. We got to worry about whether we're going to need staff or we got to do better than this. We're here telling the people this is their city. They want to save their city. But yet still, we're here bickering about an Easter egg hunt for the kids on the east side of town. What does that make us look like? We had it on one side. Commissioner Kelly took the initiative. I'm here, Commissioner Kelly. Anything I can do to help you make that program help or make that Easter egg hunt great, whatever you need from me, whatever you need me to do, I'm there for you. We can't go to our citizens telling our citizens to help us out, and then we sit up here and bicker about an Easter egg hunt. Come on, we're bigger than that. We're bigger than that. Our citizens are here. They're watching us. They have kids. Mostly everything we do here at Shabandi. We haven't done anything at Ingram in a long. I thought everybody would have welcomed that. Great job, Commissioner Kelly. But not. We got to be better than that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else? All right, now for my report. Again, I want to thank the citizens. It's really good to see y'all here today. And please come out more, not just to address some of the issues, but also be engaged in what's going on in the city. As we've talked about, we are making strides to address our 4 major challenges that we have as a city, which is making sure that our finances get together. And right now we have a financial audit that we're looking to make sure it gets completed by March 31st so that we can get out of this financial crisis and start to do our 5-year recovery plan. We have our second major challenge, which is our water billing, which I talked about earlier, and bringing in Miami-Dade County to address that. The third major challenge is our flooding and Durham moratorium. So you know we have a lot of flooding throughout the city of Opa-locka, and we actually just, we're in the process of doing an RFP for civil engineering services. Hopefully that'll be closing, I believe, within the next 30 days. Is that correct?
Should be closed within the next couple of weeks, and then we'll start reviewing applications.
All right. So that we can start to address that. We've been addressing the pump stations, and last final major challenge is our roads and streets, which we just approved a plan to pay over 7 miles of streets, temporary fix on 139th and 141st. So there's a lot of things moving to make changes to address all the issues and concerns within the city of Opa-locka. Another big challenge that we're here to face with is this 99 findings, which the manager reported. And one of the concerns that I just brought up about these special events is actually with finding number 19. which they recommend that we have commission approval for events, and also that we have a study to find out what are the best events throughout the city of Opa-locka and the best use of our staff resources. So to see something like this come up before us, right before me, I have to do my job as a duly elected person within the city of Opa-locka to ensure that we're following and abiding by rules and regulations and its operational audit. So I'm going to postpone the fact that we can have this conversation in a little more detail, because I see there's a little bit of confusion, a different opinion when it comes to this. So we do have a workshop next week, and I will make sure that we add on the agenda about how things are hosted. One of the issues that I've